Okay, so we are here with Charlie. I cannot even speak. Charlie Cannon. Um, so thank you for joining us today. And for our US viewers who might not know you, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me on. I'm Charlie Cannon. I'm a four-time WMX Australian champion. I ride for Honda Racing Australia. And yeah, I love motocross, and I'm really just trying to encourage more women and grow the women's motorsport.
Yeah, so
So
we're reaching out to you now because you just won a pretty big race, the FIM Oceania Women's Motocross Cup, um, which they're if I have it correctly, they're trying to make it like the Des Nations, right, for the men. So they're inviting different countries. Last year, what there was two, and now this year there was four different countries competing, and as well as our own girls from America. But you won all three motos. You swept it. And I think the second moto you won by like a minute and 30 seconds. Like I was watching the lap times and you even went down on the last lap, but somehow you still gained time even after falling on that lap. I was like, that was really impressive. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about that race.
yeah, that was a perfect weekend for me. I had so much fun. Even just racing with new girls. And yeah, I qualified P1. I didn't really know where I was going to stack up. But after the first race, it kind of set the tone for the weekend. I had three dominant races, some really good hole shots. And yeah, it was a tricky track. Like the track was very technical for all the girls, but um, Honda, my bike setup, the team really gave me an awesome bike to compete with. And yeah, it was so fun. Even like meeting all the American girls, Christina was very accommodating. I spent pretty much that week with the girls, just showing them around and riding with a few of them. I had the best time ever and made some really good friends.
That's really awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I watched the race and they were saying how Team Africa was like kind of freaking out because it was the track was something that they'd never seen before. So that it definitely looked really rough and rutted and it looked like a lot of fun, but definitely technical if you're not used to that sort of riding.
Oh, for sure. I loved it though.
Yeah.
Good for
So
us. Yeah.
that's really great that you got to know some of the American girls. So that leads me to another question. What do you think about coming over here and racing?
The goal is definitely I want to come over to America and do the WMX series. We're in the process of talking with sponsors. Yariv, the team owner here, has a team in
Fun?
America. So we'll just try and sort some things out. But I'm definitely trying to get over there this year and um, you know, put more recognition on the women riders. And I guess the only way in doing that is to race overseas, and get your name out there. So, yeah, that's definitely the goal for this year.
So are we talking for this year, are we talking like one or two rounds? Are you trying to do the whole series or what's your thoughts?
Definitely the whole series,
Oh,
yeah, because I checked the calendar for the Australian races
mhm.
and the American ones, and none of them clash, which is awesome. So, if everything falls into place and we can get sponsors on board, I'll plan on doing the first three rounds and the last three. And it's really good that they're like back to back,
Yeah.
so that makes it easier for me as well.
Yeah. So then it's only two flights. It's not back and forth a whole bunch.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
long flight.
Yeah. Um, so I had heard maybe you wanted to do some MXGPs. Now, if you're coming to the States, is that going to mess up your MXGPs or are you going to try to do three series this year?
Oh, well, originally the plan was to try and do like MXGP this year because I've done quite a few races over there in the past.
Mhm.
But in the process of trying to get, like, you need a team to get support over there,
Yeah.
otherwise it's really difficult. And it kind of all fizzled out before racing started. So yeah, by the time racing came around, I didn't really have anything for over there. So that kind of just was off the cards. And then I just guess focused on the Australian Championship again. And then I looked into the WMX and that was doable. So that's what I'm trying to do this year. But I'll do the Darwin GP in Australia this
Oh,
year. So
okay.
I'll at least do one of the rounds.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So one MXGP and then hopefully, yeah, Australian and US WMX. Or do you guys
Yeah, that's the
call it
plan.
MXW over there, don't you?
Oh, I
No.
guess
No.
so. It doesn't really matter.
Okay. Okay. Um, so just shifting gears a little bit, how old are you? How long you've been racing for?
Yeah, I'm 19 years old. I've been racing since I was probably riding when I was 6 and racing around 7 and that. But it kind of kicked off when I was about 12.
Okay.
Um, I won the first junior women's Australian championship. And then since I was 12, I've won every single championship through the years, till now. So,
Wow,
uh,
it's pretty
yeah,
amazing.
I love it. So, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
from watching the race, you've got like really good style and being a female rider myself, like I take this as a compliment. I don't know if it's a compliment anymore, but you definitely look like a guy when you ride. Um,
Mhm.
so
Best compliment.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
when I was watching, I couldn't watch the race live because of the time change. So when I went back to watch it, and I'm trying to find the women's moto because that's the most important motos that I want to watch, right? But I'm scrolling through and I stop and they're showing you, and just for a split second I was like, oh nope, that's the guy's race, and I fast forward and then I clicked again and I was like, oh crap, that really is the women's race, and that's totally it.
Oh,
He just
wow.
looks that badass on a bike. So yeah. So there it is. But I'm sure your brother is going to take credit for that, for your riding style and how well you ride. I'm sure that he will say, that was all him.
Oh, probably. He mainly gives me criticism, but I guess it's a good thing because then like it shows what I have to do better, not always saying,
Yeah.
you're doing well. So he's definitely probably pushed me to um have more of a aggressive male riding style, which is what I've always wanted.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, a lot of credit to him, I guess.
Yeah, so we went over your plans for this year. Are you looking, what's the one thing you're looking forward? Have you been to America yet or US yet?
I've visited America. I rode a little bit when I was 12 over there, but nothing really
Yeah.
serious. And so no, I haven't been to America. I would love to just, I guess, also ride your new tracks and um that's that's really what I want to do, just branch out. And I guess America's like, the pinnacle of where everyone gets recognized and
Yeah.
uh, the best. So yeah, I'd love to just come over and also ride the new tracks because they look a lot uh better and faster and bigger jumps than here.
Yeah, and it'll be really great to have like your level of talent here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be really cool to have you come over and race against the girls. WMX, they're making a push for it in the US again. The series kind of went away for a few years. It used to be,
Yeah.
really big back in the day. And yeah, it's just really cool that women's racing is getting recognition all over the world. And the Oceania Women's Cup looks really awesome. And I hope that's something that they continue to do, and maybe more countries will be a part of it.
Yes, I do too. It's definitely progressing in a positive way and hopefully, next year is in another country and more countries get involved to showcase all the awesome women's talent around the world.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so one piece of advice for younger girls trying to get into it.
Um, I'd just say, if you've got that passion for it, uh, give it your best shot and don't really listen to what anyone else has to say. If you love it, pour your heart into it. It's really fun and you make a lot of lifelong friends and memories. Yeah, and it also builds a lot of willpower and strong. So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely give it a best shot if you love it.
that's perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. And maybe we'll see you at a race. I don't know.
yeah, fingers
US is
crossed.
the US is like Australia, so I live pretty far away from all the races, so I don't know
Uh,
if I'll make it to all of them, but if I do make it to some, I'll come and say hi. So
oh, that'd be awesome.
thank you so much
Fingers
for
crossed
meeting
I
with
can
me.
come over. That's all
Yeah.
right. Thanks. Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Okay, so we are here with Lachlan Lala Turner. You just got back from Australia, where Team USA placed second in the FIM Oceania Women's Motocross Cup. Um, just how was it?
It was super fun. The experience was like so cool, and like everyone's so nice over there, and it's like super clean over there. Just super.
That's awesome. So, did you get to spend some time, like touristy time, or was it just strictly go over there, race, and come home?
Yeah, a little bit. We were over there for like 5 days before the
Okay.
race, and we went to the beach and we saw kangaroos and camels, and we went over like the outback. That's
Yeah,
where we saw the camels,
I didn't know
and
there were camels there.
yeah, me neither.
That's cool.
Yeah, we went to the mall. It's like 3 stories. It's crazy big.
That's awesome that you got to like enjoy some of their culture. How was the race?
It was good, like super fun. The motors were different. It was like 15, 20, 15.
Yep.
So something different. And then the track was gnarly, different than what I'm used to, I guess, because it's sand in
Yeah,
some areas.
it looks
And then,
really rutted.
yeah. So just different on a different bike, but it was fun.
Um, did you get to practice? Like, I know they had practice on the race day, but did you get to ride the bike when you got there before you went to the race? Or was it just like your first day, you show up, here's practice, your first time ever riding the bike?
It was like I guess I wrote it once before the actual practice day. I wrote it
Okay.
on Thursday, and then we raced on or Saturday.
Okay.
So a little bit of time on it.
Did you bring like your own suspension and handlebars, or was it just all new setup for somebody else?
No, we brung my handlebars in suspension and a seat. That's all.
Oh, so do you have a lower seat?
No, I just run the regular seat.
Okay. Well, how
Yeah.
tall are you? You are not the tallest rider out there for sure.
Yeah, I'm 5'1", a
Okay.
little bit short.
Yeah, so you're just like it reminds me of like Ashley Fye, like she's just so
Yeah.
little and petite and yeah, so definitely those deep ruts with your shorter legs, I can imagine it's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't know any different because you've only ever been short. Um,
Yeah.
so talk about the motos. You were probably the only one that could somewhat run with Charlie Cannon over there. But then the second moto, you were in second and had a pretty big get off. I was able to watch the second and third motos, and that first crash looked like it hurt.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to go up there when my starts were horrible.
Yeah,
Every moto, I was like probably like 10th or 11th every moto. So I had to work my way up. And by the time I worked my way up, Charlie was already like gone.
yeah,
So it kind of pissed me off a little bit that I couldn't like get a hang with her at the beginning of the race to
yeah,
see. But in practice, our lap times were like back and forth. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're competitive, but it's, it's very hard going over. I don't think people sometimes realize how hard it is to go overseas. You're riding, even if it's the same bike, it's not your bike, so you're not used to it. And then the jet lag. What was the jet lag like over there?
The jet lag wasn't too bad for me because I met this lady on the plane and she said to go to sleep their time what you would
Yep.
go to sleep our time. Like I went to bed 8:30 their time. So when I got there I was not jet lagged at all.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that. That's pretty fortunate then,
Yeah.
because usually that can really kind of hinder your performance if you're
Yeah.
just really run down and haven't had a great sleep.
Yeah.
Um, So what did it feel like to represent Team USA? Like that's really cool for our listeners that don't know anything about it. So they're trying to make this race kind of like Motocross of Nations, right? For the
Mhm.
men that the men have, they're trying to do the same thing for women's racing, which is pretty dang cool. So you had four countries, five riders, right, from each country.
Yeah.
Um, how was that?
It was amazing. It was like super cool to meet everyone from different like countries and their little accents are crazy different. And then the little things they say are just different than what we're used to. So we're like, wow. um, yeah, it's just super cool to like race different girls that you've never raced before.
Mhm.
It was amazing.
So 2024, that was a big year for you. You won Loretta's on the small bike.
Yeah.
um, you were competitive in the women's class, weren't you? Did you win a moto or two? Like I know you
Um,
were up there, and then you also had some crashes.
Yeah, I would always be up there. I was leading a one moto and just my tip overs always yeah, so I didn't really win or get up there with the women's
Okay.
because I kept falling, but I was running first a couple motos until I fell.
Okay, but you also did win the WMX championship last year. 2 years ago, you didn't even know that WMX was ever a thing, and
Yeah.
then its first year back, you come back as a complete rookie and win it. How was that?
Yeah. It was very exciting because the first, I guess the first round I couldn't do because I broke my back.
Yeah.
So I was didn't really know anything of it. And then I was still had like a little broken back still at the like second and third rounds. So I wasn't like thinking that I was gonna win those. And I came out swinging. So I was super pumped about that. And then yeah, just I couldn't make it to all of them, but the ones that I did go to, I just tried my best and I it worked out in my favor.
What about Loretta's or any other amateur stuff? Are you going to just stick to the WMX or?
No, I'll be doing all the amateur nationals.
Okay.
Um, yeah, with my team, I got to do all those, and then they're letting me do the women's races, so that's super cool, and maybe some combines.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. So if you're going to be doing a lot of nationals then. So if you're not doing the WMX, you'll be doing the combines. Would you be going to the nationals anyways to cheer for your brother?
Yes, I'll be. I'm mostly at every national that I'm not racing.
Okay, and is that the same for Supercross? Like, are you
For the
going to the
super-
Supercrosses? Are you at home riding? What's
Yeah,
the
for the
schedule like?
supercrosses, it's kind of the same thing. If I have a race, then I'm not going to supercross, but if I don't have a race, I'll be at supercross supporting my brother.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, thank you for meeting with me today and good luck. Maybe I'll see you at a couple of WMX.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we are here with Jordan Jarvis, uh, women's legend, women's motocross legend. So just got back. You just got back from Australia, where you competed in the FIM Oceania Women's Motocross Cup. Um, and you helped the team bring second place home, which on foreign soil, it's pretty hard to beat the home team on on their soil. But you girls did really great. So tell us how it went.
Yeah, the Australian girls, they were moving. They were going pretty good. Definitely a bit of a home field advantage, but that was to be expected. Um, it was a good race. I don't know what it was about that track, but every single one of us, I think, got arm pump except for maybe one. But all the men's pro teams and stuff like that, they were getting arm pump and stuff too. So
Oh,
it was a tough track for that. I don't think it was any different than what we have here in the States, just maybe less jumps. But it was a good race. We had the team kind of had a tough moto, the second moto, which kind of hurt our chances at winning.
yep.
We only lost by 2 points, I think. So it's, it's great that we still finished where we did, but it's unfortunate that we missed out by that little.
Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely had a strong team. I think just saying that you got second doesn't really, I was able to watch the last two motos. Um, so I just think saying second doesn't really show just how strong you guys were. And even in the third moto, like Kylie Stallings would be in a battle and every pass that she made or got past, like the overall just kept swapping back and forth with, and I
Yeah.
think like she was in like fourth or fifth, but it was like that was the deciding factor of, and then she ended up
Yeah.
going down late and you guys lost by just a couple of points, but it was really close, but it made for really great TV.
Oh, I'm sure it made for great TV. But no, like we all rode good. It was not so much of a change for me, but I think for Kylie and Lala and Michaela, they got to experience something new with going overseas, riding a bike you
Mhm.
don't know, riding
Yeah,
with teams you don't know and newer people and stuff like that. Thankfully, me and Jamie Estadio, we've done it already a couple times together. And she raced the GP series 1 year,
yeah,
so she's used to it. I'm no rookie when it comes to that part anyway. So it was cool to see them experience that and realize how big motocross is.
yeah,
We go over there and we get treated obviously very well. They did a fantastic job over there. Um, but we got treated awesome. The track was awesome. It was just really cool to ride with some new people and get to experience maybe some of their riding style or anything like that. But no, it was a great experience. I think we all had a good time. Hopefully we'll do this again next year, and next year hopefully we're bringing the gold home.
well, I mean, what are your plans? Because you're 24 and the Supercross guys, they are riding till they're 30, 31, 32. So if you're
Oh
still getting
yeah, I'm not
closer to
going
the
anywhere.
race. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. You guys are gonna have to push me out before I go out willingly. I mean, I tried my hand at woods racing last year. Um, that's obviously an avenue for later down the line.
Yep.
But for the time being, I'm going to keep racing motocross and trying to keep up and get some of the speed back that I had when I was younger, so we can make these WMX races a little bit more interesting, more battling up front.
Yeah. So that was one of my questions. Last year you were starting off GNCC and you kind of did the first half of the year GNCC and then you switched and did the second half of the WMX series. Can you just really talk about your decision on that and why you couldn't do both?
Well, I had tried talking with my GNCC team and folks at Yamaha about trying to do both, and they weren't thrilled with the idea. They really wanted me to focus on GNCC racing, which I completely understand. That was what my contract was for. Um, so I did what I could, but me and my GNCC team parted ways after the first Ironman round.
Yep.
So it was kind of a scramble to get back into figuring out how to ride motocross because it's very, very different. Bike handles differently, you have to ride differently, your style is different. You'll hit trees with your elbows before you'll hit your bars. So the elbows got to get tucked in, and it was not the easiest transition back into motocross. I also don't think it helped that 2 weeks, something like that, 2 weeks after I transitioned, or no, I guess it might have been a little bit longer, but it was my regional at High Point last year, and I ended up hitting a kicker, and it threw me over the front of the bike, and I went down pretty good and broke the tip of my finger.
Oh,
And I finished the weekend, but I went to see or get it x-rayed because me and my dad were arguing back and forth whether or not we thought it was broken. It's like, well, it's been swollen and black and blue for
yeah.
over a week now, so I'm gonna assume it is. I went in and I broke the tip of my middle finger above the last joint. And when I went in to see my orthopedic, he told me that I got seriously lucky and that normally when you break it like that, it rips the tendon off the end of your finger.
Oh,
So you need surgery to fix it. That didn't happen for me. So he was like, you should take a month off. And I was like, okay. I took 2 weeks off and then I raced the High Point GNC, I'm sorry, High Point WMX round. And then I took another 2 weeks off.
okay.
Um, but then Loretta's was like a month later. So I didn't have too much time to kind of transition back into everything. And it's also been a really long time since I've just raced women's
Yeah.
on the motocross side of it because
Yeah.
I've been racing the men's side.
Yeah, because you guys
So
didn't
that
have a
was
you didn't have a
yeah,
championship for the women. So I know you've been racing the pro nationals and stuff. And
yeah. It was a weird transition to get back into it.
when like watching from the Oceania stuff, the Women's Cup, you girls were so close and you were out sightseeing and doing all this stuff and really getting along good. Back when I was racing, not so much. We didn't really have that camaraderie as much. So, but if you guys are hanging out and everything, it's really hard to then throw it in on somebody and maybe take them out. So it is a lot harder racing your friends than just someone else on the track.
I mean, for the most part, I don't like to take somebody out. Now, there's obviously instances where it's an
Yeah.
accident or something like that. But then again, there is some times where it's like, okay, this is something that's going to need to happen. Um, but for the most part, no, we found a decent way to separate that side of things.
Yeah.
We do hang out when we are together, but personally, I'm not super close with any of them. I obviously friends with them, but not
Yeah.
super close.
So what are your plans then for 2025?
My plans are to race the whole WMX series this year, and then I want to do a couple outdoor nationals as well. Right now, the only one I have planned for is High Point.
Okay.
Um, I get told I'm crazy for this, but I love High Point. That's one of my favorite tracks on the circuit. So hopefully that'll go good for me. I want to do another one or two pro nationals. Like I said, I just haven't figured that one out yet. It's gonna depend on
Is
the money
there
aspect.
is there a women's round at High Point?
No, no,
No.
I'm racing the men's pro class.
Okay, I wasn't. I've
Yeah,
seen your guys' schedule, but I don't have it memorized, so I wasn't sure. I thought you actually raced it.
it's
Like,
no, no, ma'am. That was last year.
um, so this kind of me into my last question. So, in a
Mhm.
hypothetical world where you could only pick racing with the men for the rest of your life or racing with the women for the rest of your life, which class would you choose?
I guess it depends. If racing with the women's means I'm still riding like Loretta's and the amateur tracks and stuff like that, I'm gonna say racing with the men.
Yeah.
The outdoor tracks are so cool. And as much as it sucks to drive cross country to these rounds,
Hmm.
it is cool to get to see the different scenery and stuff like that. And I've gotten so spoiled by racing the men's nationals when I go to a normal practice track and their lines are just not good.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this? This isn't fun.
Yeah. When there's like
Give me
three
a
boats in
deeper
the
rut.
corner.
Everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy. Yeah. Yeah, everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy. But then I go race an outdoor national and the lines are smooth, they're perfectly round. It's like, oh, these are nice.
Yeah.
This is
Somebody
great.
somebody knew how to ride when
Uh
they made these ruts. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, so if it was based off of the tracks that we ride, I would say the Ben.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for meeting with me today.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.